Hi, Brian. I have your file that you just downloaded to me, and your facial features aren't erased. For some reason, they got moved up into the hair area. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure how that happened. And like, here's one of your eyes right there, okay, the left eye. And in doing that, and let me finish my sentence. Um, I for some reason they all got moved. So I don't know how they did that. You might have moved the main one down, meaning the main face down lower, because Taylor Swift's face was actually up here, you see? So the eye is in the same place. You moved the face down. So that's how that happened. No big deal. You just have to show all your facial features, of which I have some things that I need to tell you, okay, which isn't a big deal, but you cut them out too close to the edge of the facial feature. So this is what I'm going to do. Obviously, Taylor Swift's mouth is in the right area. See, her nose is in the right area, her eyes are in the right area. You move the face down. So you got to locate those now, move them. So I'm going to click on left lash and shift click on mouth and hit the V key, and I'm going to move them all down into the face. Okay, so where the face is. So that's what you need to do. Now, where you locate them on that is your artistic license. So you can see I've got her mouth pretty much in the right area for, where her face was. Now, possibly that wasn't the smartest thing to do. So possibly I'm going to revert back to the file the way it was. And instead of moving everything down, I'm going to move the neck and face and hair up. Okay, so let me go to File, Revert, because I had to see what your issue was. Okay, now I'm back to where it was when I first downloaded it. All right, so what I need to do is to show her face like this, but I'm going to unlock it so I can deal with it and lower the opacity of it. Okay, so now I can see where her face and stuff has to be. Let's start with her hair. So let's put everything back where it should go. Okay, so I'm going to start with her hair and her ears. So I'm going to hit the V key and I'm going to locate her hair and her ears somewhere up by her hair and her ears. You see what I just did there? Okay, so now I can tell kind of where that's supposed to go. I can refine the movement in a little bit. So what I want to do now is, I think what I want to do is just locate, turn on the mouth and the eyes and everything else. See, that's where that's supposed to be. So now let's click on, just for the sake of talking about it, I'm going to turn off her chin. Do you see where her chin should actually go? Okay, and you have it as jawline, which is fine. So I'm going to click on her blank face, shift click on the jawline, and let's move that back up. Now you can see how that is really starting to work, okay? Really starting to locate where that's supposed to go. All right, so that is really cool. Now I have it in the right place. Now, let's turn off the upper layer, all right? Click to the lowest layer that you had with, let me see where it is, the clothing, okay, clothing, and let me click on it and hit the V key and move the clothing up until it matches where it's supposed to go. So if you understand what you did, you moved everything down, her face, her blank face, and her clothing. You should have moved it up. Do you see what I'm saying? So now we have to deal with the fact that she needs more forehead, okay? So I think since she doesn't have any forehead, it would be easier to click on the hair. I'm laughing because she doesn't have any forehead. I'm clicking on the hair and I'm going to move it down so it comes right to that point right here. Now, I think you can deal with this now. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in and turn on the main copy here, and it looks like you could get away with, and I'm going to turn on the main copy and turn back up the opacity and relock that layer. Okay, now I'm turning it off. All right, you didn't give yourself enough eye to play with. I'm going to. Okay, so I'm going to turn off your eyelash, left eye, and right eyelash. Now let's take the right eye and the eyelashes together. Okay, so I'm not going to turn these back on. I'm going to turn this one off too, meaning I turned now all of the eyelash stuff off. Look what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to right hand click and just color it a color so I don't touch it anymore. Okay, I don't want to touch that anymore. So I'm going to click up to this layer, your main layer copy. Now watch what I do here. I'm going to click to the image. Now give yourself a lot of extra room. Look at, I'm taking the, I'm going to deselect because I even want to get that shading under her eye. See how I'm giving it tons of skin around and even some of that hair? There. Now, I'm going to hit Control J or Command J. Whoops. It's locked, so I have to unlock it. So I'm going to hit Control J or Command J, and now I have a new, I'm not sure what, that's actually her left eye, so I'm going to say left eye. You always talk in terms of the person, not how you're looking at her. So, oops, left eye. I'm not just left eye and eyebrow, but that's, or eyelash. Okay, now let's do the right eye. So let's click up to the main image, take your lasso or anything you can use and get a lot of this extra skin. Why? Because you can eliminate the extra skin on the layer mask. Okay, so now I hit Control or Command J. Let's call this right eye. And now let's move it. Now I'm going to turn off the main one. Okay, now watch what you can do. I saw that whatever you eventually want to do, all you have to do, and I'm going to turn off the hair so you can see, and I'm going to turn off the main blank face so you can see. See, there's your eyes. Now, we can add a layer mask and soften the edges. Why don't I do that so I can show you what that looks like right now? So let's go to this new one here, add a layer mask. Let's go to this new one here, add a layer mask. Let's click on the left eye, make sure we're working on the correct one, hit the B key. Now, I don't even have to take my time to do this. I'm going to put the flow at 25%, right hand click to all the way soft, and please watch, I'm going to turn off the nose now, and I want you to see how I'm going to now soften the skin around the edge of that. And I don't care if I go too far with it because I can always hit the X key and come back. Now look, I'm going to come across and take away that hair. Now, look at how nice that is. Look at how clean that edge is, okay? Meaning I took away the edge. Now let's do the same thing on the right eye. So let's move over. Same thing on the right eye. Let's take the time to take your paintbrush and go around the edge, and then we can distort it, put it where you want, make it smaller, and I'm going to give you a few hints on that. So look what I'm doing here. I'm just going to take away the hair, most of the hair, not all of it, just most of it, and let's come around here. Now look at how clean that is. Now, just listen to my words. See the mouth? You don't have any area to soften, so we got to do a new mouth. See the eyes? See how I had tons of area to soften? Okay, let's turn on the old hair, which I want to soften the edge on. So look, I'm going to click to the hair mask, correct? And let's soften the edge of that so it's not so definitive. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, now we may have to move that hair down over here so it joins together, meaning we may have to patch a little bit of hair in there. That always happens. So I'm going to turn on the blank face in a minute. I'm just softening the edges of this. Okay, now let's turn on the blank face. Now, all I need to do is use a clone, my clone, and a new layer, and clone the hair in that area. But first, let's deal with the eyes. Okay, so watch how cool this is. Now I'm going to click on this image. This is that eye that I'm dealing with. Now, let's just say I'm looking at the main image. Let's just say that we want to make the eye smaller. So I click on the left eye and hit Control T. If I hold the Alt or Option key, I can shrink it from the center. See how it shrinks from the center? And now I'm going to put that back in position right there. Okay, I'm going to now hit the Return key. I'm going to click to the right eye. I'll turn the layer on and off. Okay, I'm clicking to the image. Control T or Command T, Alt or Option corner, so it goes from the inside out. Now look at how I've got little tiny eye there. Okay, now that looks kind of cute. Here's what she was like. Here's what I've got her like, or whatever you want. If you want to make them bigger, fine, make them bigger. I'll do a quick mouth, and your nose you gave enough area to, I think. But here's how you would fix that hair. It's not a big deal. Put a layer above the hair. Hit the S key for the clone stamp. Okay, now I have got aligned off. Thank you. Please take aligned off. My flow is at 25. I'm going to make it 50. Make sure you right click to all the way soft. Now look, I'm going to sample this right up here, right there. Click. Now I'm going to come across here. Am I on my own layer? Yes, I'll even call this extra hair. Now watch how simple. I can just paint the extra hair in there. Now, nobody's really going to know, but excuse me, let me grab this from this point because it curves. Now, that's much better. See how I did that? And I'm going to click some more right there, and now it's fine. Now let's go over here. Look, I'm going to click above it. I'm going to sample by Alt or Option clicking above it. Now I'm just going to let go and just click, and I can now replace that hair. Look, I'm going to go smaller and replace it right over this. Now nobody would ever know that I didn't. I'll sample this right there, about a 1/4 inch above it, and I'll just click. I'll sample that, and now I'll just click. I'll sample this, and now I'll just click. Now you see how nicely I've replaced that hair over her eyes. Okay, let's go. There's a line right there that I want to get rid of. So I'm going to Alt or Option sample right there, and let's just keep on clicking until that goes away. Now I'm just clicking, I'm not dragging. Now look how nice. Now let's go to your mouth. Okay, I am going to turn off your mouth. I'm going to go back to the main mouth. I'm going to click to the image of her that you correctly put on the top. Now watch how much I give around this mouth. I want the laugh lines, I want everything. So look, now hit Control J. Let's put this down by your regular mouth. So your initial problem wasn't that you lost them, you just moved everything away from where the parts were. So let me go new mouth. I gave her a new mouth. Now I'm going to turn off the upper image, of course, right? And I'm going to turn off the blank face. So again, you understand that I have to add a mask to the new mouth. Okay, Brian, add a mask to the new mouth. Hit the B key. Soften the edge of this mouth. I'll go a little bit bigger. No, I won't go a little bit bigger. I'll just take the time in front of you to soften the edge of that mouth, but I don't want to lose the lips, and I don't want to touch the lips. I think they're cool. Now, I could fatten her bottom lip, and I can show you how to do that. We have a little retouching that you did on the face, which is fine. I'm just going to leave that. I could show you what layer that's on and see if we even need it. Okay, now I'm almost done softening. Now let's find out what layer that's on. So I'm going to turn off new mouth, hit the V key, right hand click, and it's on jawline. Now I'm not sure we even need that on the jawline. Okay, maybe we did. So let's turn on the blank face. Okay, that doesn't hurt anything on the jawline, so let's just leave it. Let's go to the new mouth, and now let's figure out what you want to do. Maybe you want to make the mouth bigger. I don't know. So now there's this. Now let's just make the mouth bigger, and then I'll puff the lip out, just so you can see how to do it. So let me find new mouth. Okay, so I hit Control T. I now am going to hold Alt or Option and make the mouth bigger. Now you see by having the softness, see, look at my mask. See how I softened all that? Let me turn off the blank face and I just want you to understand, okay? So I'm going to right-hand click on the new mouth mask and disable it. See how it was? Now let's go and enable it and see how it is. Now, I'm going to take that image right here, see it? And I'm going to fatten the bottom lip even more by going to Filter and Liquify. Now in Liquify, let's zoom in. Let me move this up. And let's use the bloat tool. So let me find out which one is the bloat tool. I always forget. That's the reconstruct tool, smooth tool. I always forget. Pucker, bloat. So let's go to bloat. Okay, now in bloat, I can make the brush a little bigger and I can see how I'm fattening that bottom lip. See, I'm just making it bigger with the bloat tool. So we just give her a little extra Botox right there. Now I'm going to say okay. Now you see how that changed, and if I turn on your blank face, we have it. Now let's turn on the nose and let's examine the nose with the nose. Now you did a fairly good job, you did, but again you didn't give it enough area. So don't be mad, but I'm going to turn off your nose, click to the regular image on top, hit the L key for lasso, and what's the big deal about giving it just tons of room around? Because we can erase, I don't want to say erase, we can soften or reduce the effect of that edge with a layer mask, right? So Control J, let's type in new nose. I'm going to make the nose smaller. It's your art, you can do what you want. That's the beauty of this. So now let me turn off this upper layer so I can see my nose. Okay, I'm gonna, again, so you understand, turn off the blank face. I love how you organize this. Just so you know what I'm doing. What do I add to that? A layer mask. Let's take a big paintbrush, and let's soften the edge of this really fast. So I can just take the skin that's around that nose and just soften it. And if you go too far, hit the X key. So you can paint white back on top of the black if you go too far. Now, there is a nice nose. Now let me turn it off and on. That did not take long, but let's make her nose really teensy-weensy. At least I'm going to. How do you do that? You click on the image, you Control T or Command T, hold Alt or Option, and I can shrink this from that point. Now I'll bring it down a little farther, so because it's closer to her mouth, and let's hit the return key and turn on your blank face, and now we have Taylor Swift. Now I need to soften this because that doesn't make sense there. Either I add a darkness to it or I soften it. So those are the things that you have to do once you get, where's my new nose? I lost my new nose. Okay, so I click to the layer mask, hit the B key, and let's soften that there. That looked really good, and that looks really good, and now look how we softened it. And here is Taylor Swift, and here she is right here. I think her eyes need to be wider. I think because that's part of her ambiance here, is she has these eyelashes that are cool. So let's just do the eyes wider. So I'm just gonna, and then I'll be done. So the left eye here, I'm gonna hit Control T. I'm gonna hold the Shift key and just make that wider. Now that looks much better. That reminds me of Taylor Swift. So let's go to the right eye, hit Control T, and let's hold the Shift key so only that edge gets bigger, and I'll move it back into the center. And now that this eye over here needs to be moved back over just a touch. Hit the V key, move it back where it's supposed to go. Boy, did us ruin. We sure did a good caricature on her. Anyway, I just wanted you to see what needs to be done. And look, see this area that's between her nose here, that's between her eyes? I'm sorry. I think that's needed. So in your case, I'm going to take the L key and I'm going to grab that right here, just like this. And I'm going to make a new thing. I'm just going to call it bridge. So I'm going to hit Control J. Let's call this bridge. And let's put it down above the new nose, wherever I put the new nose. Where is the new nose? New nose. Right there. Okay, cool. Let's turn off the upper layer. Now, I can make that work, and so it kind of matches the nose. Let me take the V key and show you that's that little area. Now, I don't think I have to turn off the face. I just want you to see how I'm going to hit Control T, hold the Shift key and move this down, okay, and then hold Alt or Option and shrink it. So from the center. Now, if I add my layer mask, I should show you again just so you can get it in and I can understand I want to soften these edges. That's why I turn off the blank face. So let's go to the mask, hit the B key and soften, smaller brush this time, because I don't want to lose that wrinkle right there. You see that nice bridge part? I don't want to lose it. So I want to come across here. I want to definitely soften the top of this so it blends into the skin on the forehead, and I don't want to lose this, so I'm going to I should have even given it more cutout area, but let's just see if this works. So let me come across here now. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. Now let's see if that works. See how nice and soft that edge is? Okay, let's just turn on the blank face and see if it works. It does work, but I'm going to make it deeper. So Control T, hold the Shift key, make it deeper so it comes down. There, that worked. Excellent. Just excellent. Look at how nice that is. Now I think, let me turn on her regular face and I'm almost done. No, I think that's actually pretty good. Actually, it can go back up. It's okay that it kind of diminishes. I think I have it too low. So where did I do with bridge? There's bridge. So I'm going to click, hit the V key, and let's get in close and move this back up like that. Now that is nice. Now let me click to the layer mask. Let's soften this darkness with black on the layer mask right there. Perfect. Let's go over here. That's nice. And now there is Taylor Swift. So watch this a couple of times, okay? And then go back to the tutorial movie. Thank you.